So when it comes to reflecting content, reflecting feeling, reflecting meaning, what happens is content is the very top, the very superficial. And with each level, we go deeper. So when we reflect content, it's the very basics, just the details of what the client said. When we reflect feeling, it takes it one level deeper. And then meaning is even deeper than that. What this helps do is it helps the client feel seen and heard, and that we understand what they're saying. And so here's an example. If a client says something like, I just don't feel like I belong at work. Every time I share an idea in a meeting, it feels like people dismiss me, and I start wondering if they even want me there. It's exhausting. I feel like I'm walking on eggshells all the time, trying to prove that I'm good enough. So reflection of content would be, it sounds like you're noticing your ideas don't seem to get the acknowledgement that you expect at work, right? That's just content. You sounds like you're noticing your ideas don't get acknowledgement at work. Reflection of feeling would be the following. You're feeling dismissed and uncertain, and that's leaving you exhausted and frustrated. Do you see how that takes it a level deeper? And then if we went even deeper than that to reflection of meaning, it would go like this. It seems like this situation is making you question your value and whether you truly belong, which is really weighing on you emotionally and mentally. This approach helps the client to feel heard on multiple levels: their specific experience, which would be the content, their emotional response, the feeling, and the deeper significance of the situation, the meaning. This layered effect helps clients feel understood, seen, and validated. Let's talk about open and closed-ended questions. Closed-ended questions are questions that elicit a yes or no response, and open-ended questions are just the opposite. So an open-ended question could sound something like, I'm curious as to what was going on in that situation. As you say that, I'm wondering what you were thinking as he said that to you, right? Using questions can be really tricky in a counseling conversation. The time to use a question is after you've reflected and you found that there is no more new information coming. And so we reflect, and we reflect. And when there's no more information, we ask an open-ended question. Why do we need to be careful about asking questions? The reason is fairly simple. Because when you ask a particular question, you start leading the conversation in a particular direction. And that direction may not be where the client wants to go or needs to go. And so you reflect and you allow the client to guide the conversation. And when you run out of land, out of territory to investigate, you use an open-ended question to see where the client would like to go next. Be careful about asking questions too early in the conversation. Our questions should be minimal. And we should be careful that we're not talking more than the client is. If the client speaks for 30 seconds and your response is 90 seconds, there's a chance that you're talking too much and you need to use better reflections or better questions. Let's talk about paraphrasing. Paraphrasing is a skill that counselors use to restate clients' words in their own words, showing the client that they are being heard and understood. It focuses on the core message that the client is sharing without adding interpretation or judgment. Paraphrasing helps clarify what the client is saying, allowing them to hear their own thoughts and words reflected back. And this can encourage further exploration of their feelings and the situation. So let's look at an example. In this example, the client says, I am so overwhelmed with everything going on between work deadlines, taking care of kids, and trying to help my mom. I feel like I can't keep up, and no one seems to notice how much I'm struggling. What do you think a good paraphrase of this would be? Take a second, pause the video, and create a paraphrase. Here is an appropriate paraphrase of that statement. You're feeling stretched thin, trying to manage your responsibilities at work, with your kids, and for your mom, and it seems like others aren't aware just how hard things are for you right now. Was your paraphrase similar? This paraphrase captures the client's main points while staying close to their original meaning, giving the client a sense of being understood and encouraging them to elaborate further. And lastly, summarizing. Summarizing can feel a lot like paraphrasing, except it usually happens towards the end of the conversation, the end of the session, or after a key segment. And what summarizing does is it helps clarify any points and ensures a mutual understanding. Summarizing is especially useful to bring focus to the most important themes and provide a sense of closure to the session. It also helps identify patterns and shows the client that you understood what they were saying and basically that you get it. Okay, so first of all, I want to thank Peyton as thank you for being here as a volunteer for this role play. Hi, Peyton. I'm so glad that you're here. What brings you in today?
I've just been really stressed out recently, I guess. I'm a freshman. I just started college and I don't know what major. I'm undecided, and I feel like everyone around me knows what they're doing with their future, and I'm just not sure what I want to do.
So you're a freshman and you start in college, and as you look around you, you feel that everybody else seems to know what they're doing and seems to have it together, and you're feeling a little bit lost and maybe not as sorted out or clear with your path as everybody else.
Yeah, that's it. I'm feeling lost. My dad really wants me to go to medical school, and he's always told me that I should be a doctor, and you kind of like set out a path for me. And I hate science. I'm not great at science. And I know like some other subjects I enjoy studying, but when I think of a future career, I don't know what would make me happy, and feels like everyone around me knows what they want to do. And I'm just feeling behind compared to everyone else.
Mhm. And that doesn't sound like it feels nice to feel lost like that. And the only plan that you have is this one that your dad set for you that you don't even vibe with. It's not your thing.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be a good doctor. I don't think anyone wants me to be a doctor. I Yeah, I guess I'm just comparing myself to everyone else, and I'm taking all these electives because I don't know what classes I should be taking. I don't know what core classes to take if I don't have a major, and college is just so different than high school. So I feeling just overwhelmed with all of it.
I think all these choices can be overwhelming, especially when we're stepping out of a much smaller environment like high school, where things are kind of set up for us and we don't have to make too many choices. And then you reach college and there's all these things you could do and there are all these options. And sounds like you have very little guidance at the moment about what to do and how to move forward.
Yeah, the only people I talk to are my parents, like about my future at least. So, and they have this idea of what they want me to do. They very strict on that too. So talking to them just really doesn't help me very much. It just told, major in biology and be pre-med and go to medical school. And I have a school counselor, or like they have that here. They have career guidance, but yes, I've just been feeling so anxious that I haven't even connected with them.
Mhm. And so your parents have this very clear idea about what you should be doing, and you're aware of resources that you could use at the university, like the counselors there, right? That will help you choose good courses and an academic plan. But your anxiety is getting in the way of you even approaching them and using that resource because you feel overwhelmed.
Yeah. The anxiety is not something I've always struggled with, but I'm dealing with it a lot more now in college. And feel like I'm just isolating myself a lot because I don't want to go meet new people and them ask what classes I'm taking or what the next steps are, what I want to major in. I any kind of conversation I have with people, it just reminds me that I'm behind compared to where others are at.
I think comparisons can be kind of sucky, right? And we compare our insides with everybody else's outsides, and everybody else looks like they're doing so well. As you say that, Peyton, I'm curious. Um, if you could think of, let's do this. If you waved a magic wand and everything was exactly how you wanted it to be, what would be different from now?
I guess I would know more about what I would be more confident in what I'm majoring in and what my future looks like. And my parents would be supportive of it.
Mm.
That would be the perfect world for me.
So rather than being overwhelmed and only having your parents as a resource, if you wave this magic wand, you would be more confident, you would know what your major was, and you would have a better support network.
Yeah, that sounds very nice. I wish that
Right?
magic wand existed.
No, it does sound nice. I agree. I'm curious. I'm also, you said you explained how things are now, and you explained how you want things to be. I'm wondering if um, I'm wondering what one small step is that you could take to get you closer to that picture that you described. What is one thing that you could do that isn't too anxiety provoking?
I mean, I guess I could meet with the career counselor here, even though it is anxiety provoking. I feel like it always feels overwhelming, but maybe they'd be very helpful. You're being very helpful. So maybe they would also be able to, yeah, give me, I just don't want to feel that judgment. So, but that's their job. So maybe meeting with the career counselor would at least help. Or maybe taking a career quiz if that feels too overwhelming.
Yeah, so you paid in, we chatted about the anxiety you're feeling and your lack of direction and how everything feels overwhelming. And we chatted about some solutions. What are you going to walk away with today? What was beneficial for you out of our conversation?
I feel a little bit less anxious now that I've talked to you, and I feel like it's a more normal experience to not be certain about what I want to major in or what the future holds. And I'm at least going to take a career quiz, but I might talk to the counselor as well.
Okay, so the least you're going to do is the career quiz, right? Awesome. Do you feel like you have a little bit of direction now and know how to move forward?
Yeah, I at least feel less anxious about all of the uncertainty and feels very great sharing this with you and feeling less alone through it.
Awesome. Well, let's see what happens over the next week. And then when we reconnect next week, you can give me an update on your progress and we can continue to work on your anxiety. Does that sound good?
That sounds really good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So good to see you, Peyton.